All right, so finally we're going to talk about finding good pow surf conditions. Obviously, without snow, there's no pow surfing, just like there's no surfing in the ocean without waves. It also takes effort, exploration, and experience to surf the Earth's elements, and you'll get out of it what you put into it. Your ability to seek out and find good conditions for pow surfing is huge in the quality of your pow surfing experience. Just like surfing the ocean, it's all about the weather, your timing, your location, and your wave selection. The more you pay attention to these factors, the more success you will have in finding the goods. Snow quality and quantity is constantly changing, and it varies greatly throughout the world. It also changes and varies within very short distances. So study your local terrain and get out there, and that's the best thing you can do. Some areas are fortunate to have snow accumulation right outside the doors of their homes, turning neighborhoods, backyards, city parks, golf courses, and sledding hills into great pow surfing zones. Sometimes these zones can hold good snow for days or even weeks, and in some places the opportunity for good pow surf conditions only lasts a day or two. So your timing can be a big factor in riding those types of zones. These zones can be particularly good for beginners learning to pow surf, as there's often way less hazards, less rocks under the snow, and just a few inches on top of smooth grass can really go a long way. They're often easy to access and very easy to hike up and down. For advanced riders, you could build a jump or a jib and turn these basic zones into a super fun time. When it comes to pow surfing, creativity is always the key to a good time. Other great places to find pow surfing terrain are the peripheries of ski resorts, roadside zones on mountain passes, and of course the biggest playgrounds exist deeper in the backcountry. So study maps of your area, pay attention as you drive mountain roads, and while you're out hiking around the mountains in the summertime or anytime, take note of those potential pow surf zones. Pay attention to what I call the 4 keys. These apply most anywhere in the world. These 4 keys are great to help you find great pow surf conditions and zones, but you must remember these are the same keys that affect avalanche conditions. Before you venture into the backcountry, I highly recommend you take a level 1 avalanche course at the very least. Don't let your search for good pow surf conditions kill you or your friends. I like to say with great powder comes great responsibility. So take the steps, do the right thing, and empower yourself with the knowledge you need to travel and play safe in the backcountry terrain. The 4 keys are aspect, elevation, weather, and terrain. Aspect, elevation, weather, and terrain are the most important things to pay attention to and learn from so that you can dial in the best pow surf zones and the best approaches and exits to and from those zones. These keys all have significant effects on each other, so it's important to realize this when making judgment calls on where to go ride. Aspect refers to the direction of a slope is facing. Northerly aspects receive less direct sunlight and hold colder temperatures. Snow quality has a better chance of remaining colder, and this preserves the quality of the snow. When I say northerly, that refers to northeast, north, and northwest slopes. South-facing slopes receive more direct sunlight, so this of course will affect the quality of the snow on those aspects as well. That can mean heavier snow conditions or melt-freeze crusts in the winter, and very damp and slushy conditions in the spring. There can also be shallower snowpack on southerly slopes. This is all, of course, dependent on weather and elevation as well. For instance, cold temperatures and cloud cover can shield sun and preserve snow conditions on southerly facing slopes. So you'll need to watch the weather. Next, we'll look at elevation. Generally speaking, the higher the elevation, the colder the temps will be. There are exceptions on some days when temperatures are inverted, but as a general rule, when you gain elevation, temperatures generally drop. Weather is also generally more fierce at higher elevations, often leading to deeper snow totals, and other major factors such as wind speeds and directions that will greatly affect snow conditions. When it comes to the weather, you certainly want to look at the weather forecast for the day you go out, but paying attention to the changes in the weather over the course of time is extremely important as well. Take note of the temperatures, wind speeds, wind directions, cloud cover, and of course snowfall totals. Knowing the conditions from the prior few days can really help you travel more efficiently and easily and make a good call on what zones to visit. For example, maybe it only snowed 2 inches overnight. The previous day temps climbed and the sun was out in force. You can make a pretty good guess that the snow surface on southerly places will have melted and refroze overnight. So they're going to be crusted, and that 2 inches on top of that crust is not going to be enough to make a good rideable pow surf zone. But that 2 inches fell on top of colder snow that was not affected by the sun in those northerly facing areas. And that is going to be more than enough to have a good time pow surfing. So choose your zones accordingly. As an example, let's say it snowed 3 inches and the winds were averaging 25 miles an hour out of the west during the storm at upper elevations. This would mean there's a good chance that the uppermost west-facing slopes could be stripped of the new snow, making those aspects and elevations a poor choice for your destination. But that snow gets blown somewhere, and in this case, it could likely have landed on the easterly-facing slopes, loading them with deeper snow than the other areas. That can easily turn a 3-inch storm total into 6 or more inches in areas where the wind deposited that snow. Oftentimes, the highest peaks and bowls are not the best places to ride. The wind can have a huge effect on the upper elevation terrain. Sometimes the mid-elevation terrain can be a little bit better. Finding more sheltered areas where trees and terrain features block the wind can benefit you greatly. As you gain elevation in the backcountry, pay attention to the snow quality on the aspects of the terrain around you. You'll be gaining valuable information as you climb that will help guide you to find the best snow conditions of that area. The final key we'll gloss over here is terrain. Terrain encompasses a lot of things: bowls, cirques, slope angles, flats, cliffs, creeks, tree cover. These terrain features can shelter or expose snow to the wind and sun, and also create microclimates. Within these terrain features, snow can either be kept colder or warmed by the sun and air temperature. These features can positively or negatively affect the snow conditions. For example, let's say the air temperatures have climbed well above freezing, and most of the snow you're seeing has been saturated by the warmth and refrozen to form a crust from low temperatures the night before. It could still be possible to find a cold microclimate in a true north-facing, mid to upper elevation bowl. Directly north-facing bowls with a lot of tree cover and large cliffs could still be holding colder air and nice dry powder. The snow in the trees is helping keep those air temps cooler, as are the rock formations that sit in the shade all day, every day. Let's say there's no more cold and dry powder to be found on that particular day, so perhaps it's worth trying a more southerly aspect that's been warmed by that day's sun. The sun's warmth can often cook off that top layer of crust that formed the night before, and you could wind up surfing some really fun slush or wet pow. So pay attention to terrain features, their elevations, their aspects, and you'll find what we call honey holes of good powsurf snow conditions out there when you think there's nothing at all to be found. Finding nice, fresh powder conditions is a good goal, but remember that if you're running a grassroots powsurfer, you can have a great time powsurfing in a wide variety of snow conditions. Terrain choice can make or break your day. Let's say it snowed just 3 or 4 inches and it fell on a firm surface and you're sliding out on your turns on certain slopes. There just isn't enough snow for your edges to sink in to have solid control. So try riding a more shallow angled slope and you may be able to have the control you need. A few inches on a shallow angle slope can be a lot of fun. It rides very fast and pretty exhilarating. When you're riding in more shallow powder or firmer conditions such as slush, set up Sierra cement, crust, or other variable and difficult snow conditions, it can really help to move your back foot onto the kick of the tail a few inches. This will help force the tail and rails of the board to sink in more effectively and get you the edging you may need in these challenging conditions. Even small adjustments within your foot placement of an inch or two in any direction can make a big difference in how your board will handle the conditions you're in. So experiment with minor adjustments of both of your feet as you ride down the mountain, and take note of the differences in the type of control you feel. You can also make assessments on snow quality just from looking at the snow remaining in the trees after a storm. If there's still snow clinging to those trees, then pay attention to the elevation and aspect of those trees, and that will offer helpful hints on where you can go to find good quality snow. There are so many ways you can have fun on a powsurfer, and by paying attention to the weather, terrain features, elevation, and aspects around you, you can better make educated decisions to help you find good snow conditions and ensure that every day that you go out powsurfing is a good one. Remember that experience is the best teacher, so take what you've learned here, get up into the mountains and apply it. Enjoy the mystery and the discovery and everything about the never-ending search for the perfect powsurf wave. That exploration will lead you to discover all sorts of cool nooks and crannies that are holding great snow for powsurfing. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to check out our other how-to powsurf videos here on our YouTube channel. We have videos that focus on the basic equipment you'll need to have the best time on your powsurfer, as well as backcountry access tools to make travel to and from your zones as efficient as possible. Also some tips and tricks that can benefit everyone from beginners to well-seasoned powsurfers, so you can all have the best powsurf experience possible. Be sure to subscribe to the POWSURF YouTube channel so you don't miss the goods as we continue to release new films and instructional videos. And please share them with your friends. Your support here is crucial to help us continue to create great powsurfing content.